Hello and welcome to the video where we're going to break down beginner mistakes when starting a faceless YouTube channel. So this video is going to be a little bit more of a conversation. I'm going to go through, I made a huge list here on my phone of the common just beginner mistakes that I see when it comes to people starting a faceless YouTube channel. And so I'm going to go through and just dump my thoughts on each of these from what I've seen. From now at this point, I've had on one program of teaching Faceless YouTube, we had over 2,000 students on. On the current one that we're actively running, we have like over 350 students on it, and we help insane amounts of people win with Faceless YouTube channels. And I'll show you guys real quick. We have this chat. It's called Client Wins or Student Wins, and we just post all of these people that are getting monetized and building channels and having wins and quitting their jobs and stuff. We've worked with a lot of people, and I've been help coaching Faceless YouTube channels for 4 years now. So I've seen a lot of the common mistakes that people have. So what you'll notice is there's probably some stuff that I won't even bring up in this video. Feel free to ask more questions in the comments as we go through this, and I'll try to answer everything that's on there. But what I will say is these are the things that I found to be the most. So we're going to start off in the research and strategy section of this. So first of all, the number one thing that I see that eliminates people from having success entirely is they take too long to do research. Everyone's trying to find the perfect idea. And what I will say is there are many perfect, great ideas, and YouTube and Faceless YouTube niches, they go in cycles. I found after doing this for a long time, it seems like I would say quarter, let me grab my drink here. Every quarter there is another opportunity. I remember one point in time it was like Reddit channels, and then one point in time it was like data channels, and then crime, and explainer is like a recent one, explainer niche. And these niches, like, there constantly are opportunities to hop in when it's a perfect market timing and you're in the right spot. But what I will say is if you're a complete beginner, I don't think it's a good idea to try to time a market. Instead, when you're a beginner, it's about trying to get to where you're making 5, 10, 20 grand a month with pretty much any niche. You can do that for the most part as long as there's other people doing it. And I'm going to make another video here soon about the best niches to join and all these niches that you can make definitely 6 figures a year with. But a lot of people, they're trying to find the perfect thing and the perfect opportunity for them to get into. And what I will say is if this is your first channel, you've never built a YouTube channel before, I recommend just picking something and going with it, and then go produce 10 videos, go produce 20 videos on it, and get a feel of, especially if you're working with freelancers or AI tools to produce the videos like a lot of our students use, or you're making the videos yourself, at least just start getting used to all the different components and trying to start getting some success with it. Now, does every student I see the first channel that they have success with make 10 grand a month? Typically not, I would say. Sometimes they don't. What I will say is, like, most of the students that we work with, typically within the first 3 channels, one of them typically has success. So I recommend just viewing it as you're going to try some different things out. And what I found, even in my own experience after running like over 50 channels, is there's some niches where I just can't have success with. I just can't figure it out myself. And it's crushing it for other people. It's a great opportunity for others, and there's people definitely winning in it. But for some reason, I just can't figure it out sometimes. Does that happen all the time? No, not really. It happens every so often, like maybe 1 in every 5 channels I do. I just can't figure it out. And that's pretty normal. So what I will say is just get started. Find what works best for you, and then down the road, like I said, every quarter there's like new opportunities that are constantly popping up, sometimes more frequently, sometimes there's like a good 6-month span where there's nothing really coming out that's new. But what I will say is at all times you can always make 6 figures a year, $10,000 a month in all sorts of different niches. There's just some times where you can start up a channel and in month 1 make 20 grand a month. Now, what I will say is just shoot for consistency. I always would rather have a channel that consistently makes 20 grand for 5 years, 20 grand a month for 5 years, than trying to get a channel that just makes 200 grand in 2 months and then it like doesn't really ever make numbers like that ever again. That's what I would say. Number 1 is people take too long to do the research. Go deep, go quick. After a day of hardcore research, maybe a few days, maybe a week if you're really slow, you got a really busy schedule or something, trying to get into this. But don't take too long. Just find something, pick it, go with it. You can always pivot down the road. So here's another issue that I commonly see a big issue with, and I see this a lot with older demographics of people that I work with, just older people that I've worked with. When I say older, like probably 35 plus, like probably that, I would say it's that 30 to 40-year-old range. People have a bit of an ego around what they know of, oh, I'm into this thing, so I bet it's a great niche or a great opportunity to do YouTube in. And then they just start running with it, and then they start producing videos. What I will say is, now, yes, this kind of is a little bit, goes against the last point that I just made of just pick a niche and go with it. But they're not doing it based off of what's working in the market. So when I'm saying taking too long to do the research and picking a niche, it's like they take months to pick something. What I will say is go look at what's working out there. Use view stats, Social Blade, vidIQ to go see how many views these channels are making, or how many views they're getting, and how much, kind of get a rough estimate of how much money that they're making on the channels. And then from there, pick from those channels that are making money and emulate those channels. What I see a lot of people do, like, I'll take an example, hopefully this guy doesn't take it personal, was which we eventually fixed it and got him going in a lot better direction. But I love Jimmy Buffett. I love eating at his restaurants. I love wearing Hawaiian t-shirts every single day. I'm gonna make a Jimmy Buffett channel. And what I will say is, there's not like any Jimmy Buffett channels out there making a ton of money. I would love to be proven otherwise, but there was nothing, like, I was like, okay, cool, let me see the research on this that you've done. And we just couldn't really pinpoint something that was having success. So what I will say is, especially if you're a beginner, go find something else that's already making money and just emulate their strategy of what they're doing. So if someone does a video about psychological or manipulation tactics in 10 minutes, what you should do is go find another video that's comparable to that. So if they did manipulation tactics, you could do personality traits explained in 10 minutes, right? Because those are both in psychology. They're both there's a good amount of people that are wanting to watch those videos. What I see a lot of times is people trying to come up with some sort of Frankenstein of an idea. And anytime you do that, even when me as a professional faceless YouTuber, just as a professional YouTuber, I struggle to do anything that's like a Frankenstein idea. Like, it takes a lot more work if I do make it happen. It just takes so much more effort. But what I will say is, just find something that's already proven and just do that for your first channel. I'd rather, because for most of you, this is how I always tie it in for people, it's like, for most people, what's the priority? Are you trying to do something of your passion and your dreams, or are you trying to make money? What is the first outcome that we are trying to shoot for? If you're already rich and a millionaire and you don't have to work a job and you love your life and you want to build a channel for fun, cool. Okay, let's do something for your passion. But most people are getting into this as an opportunity to get out of their current life or to make more money, to generate an income. So let's focus on that first. Let's get to where you're making 5 grand a month, 10 grand a month, 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand a month. And then we can start doing something that you're passionate about, or something that's a little bit more aligned with your interests. Like, we want to find something that you're somewhat interested in when you're getting started, because there is 50 different niches that you can get into. There's probably something out of those 50 that you can find there's other channels that are successful out there. But that doesn't mean, like, on day one, you love palm trees, so we should do a palm tree channel. Or you love Jimmy Buffett, so let's do a Jimmy Buffett channel. If there's nobody already out there having success, there should be no business of us even thinking about starting a channel in that niche. That brings me over to the next part, which is don't do enough research. Which is, I'll have some people where they'll find 2 channels, 3 channels that are having success, and they're like, okay, cool, that's good, I'm done. The students that I see that have the most amount of success is they go 30 channels, 50 channels, 100 channels worth of research. And now, obviously, in most niches, there probably isn't more than 3 to 5 channels in the niche. But what I want you to do, or what I see people that have success, is they do research in all of these niches, or multiple niches, and that are like similar to it, or that they're somewhat interested in. And at least doing research on 30 channels, you start to be able to develop this ability to pattern recognize and understanding why are these channels that are why channels are failing, and then why channels are having success. That reminds me, which is, even in your niche, find the channels that are winning, but also find the channels that are failing and why they're failing, and try to pick apart those videos, why they aren't doing good, because it's not only important to know what to make when it comes to making a faceless YouTube channel, but also what to avoid, what to stay away from when it comes to making your videos. So not doing enough research, I typically see, like, you should know. I have a video in my program, it's called Becoming a Niche Nerd. Like, you want to know your niche better than anybody else out there on YouTube or in your niche. As soon as a channel started a week ago, you know about it. Or like someone uploaded their video for the first time in your niche, you should know about it, and it has 5 views. That's to the specificity that you should know your niche, or at least knowing like niches that are similar to yours, or other ways that people are doing it. So you should always be doing, like, always looking up. You should know your niche better than anybody else and do a deeper amount of research than anybody else inside of your niche. And then that also, and I think I'll talk about it here in a little bit, but it's to really not just what are the channels that are inside of it, but what are their most viral videos? What are their failure of videos that they're producing on these competitor channels? And why is it that the videos that failed, why did they not do so good? And you don't necessarily have to have all the answers, but just watching the videos and trying to start developing the system of this thought process of, okay, I see, okay, this video, they did this type of hook, they set it up with this type of frame, they talk about these subjects, and they're really interesting. And then I watched this other one and it just didn't really have that substance to it, or it was really far off from like what their normal content is. Do a good, I would say, like, the reason why I started this video off of the beginner mistakes when people have when they start a Faceless YouTube channel with the research and the strategy is because the highest leverage thing out of all of this, out of this entire process, the difference I see is someone making 30, 40, 50 grand a month versus someone that struggles to get past $100 a month on their channel or even get monetized, is the people that crush it and the people that win, they're really good at the idea and then really good at producing the videos. And the idea is the first part. And I love the Apple effects of when you record on an Apple Pro. Okay, but anyways, so they really focus and emphasize, like, they are really adamant on the research. And I've seen that with my own success as well. Like, the success that I've had is because I knew the idea really well. I knew it was a good opportunity. It was a 1 million view video before I even produced it. Like, I knew that, and when I then made the video and executed on it, like, I knew exactly what to do when I got to that point. So that brings me over to my next point in the research and strategy section still, which is taking advice from too many different places. And I see this too, like, I see this a lot, where there's a lot of people talking about Faceless YouTube channels. There's a lot of people, I love their advice. They have really good advice. There's a lot of people, it's just pure hot wet garbage. It's dog shit. Like, the information that they provide to people is not good. So I would be extremely skeptical of the research that you're getting and being careful of mixing the batch and mixing the information. Some good ones, I'll just list them off that I know off the top of my head, at least on YouTube. I know Noah Morris is really good. I know he gives really good advice. I met this guy at Vid Summit. I know that if you watch, I'd be careful of some of the stuff on some of these channels. I'm trying to think. I'm trying not to throw anybody under the bus, but give some good. Noah Morris is good. I would say I have a friend named Wanner. His is really good. I don't know what his name is on YouTube necessarily. I have a friend Fed. He's really good. Daniel Bitton. He's like the 16-year-old. He's making a ton of money. I'm trying to think who else. Those are some of the ones off the top of my head. Maybe I'll make a post or whatever about YouTube advice to trust. But you want to be really skeptical. Oh, Daryl Eves, he's a good one. He's not really Faceless YouTube, but he gives good YouTube advice. He works for like Mr. Beast and stuff. I would say those are like the big ones. You want to be really skeptical about who you get advice from and being really particular about where you get this advice, because if you get it from the wrong people and the wrong sources and you try to mix all of this stuff, it can really just confuse you and set you back a lot of time. Especially anybody talking about making rain sound videos or meditation videos, or even talking about doing shorts. I know that like shorts is paying a lot better right now these days, but it's still like you have to get a ton of views to make money with it. I found like a lot of times like long format content is significantly better for people. So just be careful of mixing the advice. And then the next one that I have on here is not regularly studying the competition. So this kind of plays into what I was talking about a little bit ago, which is just you should know your competition better than anybody else. And then last but not least, on the research and strategy part, which is not understanding the audience they're talking to. So I've made one thing I really recommend doing when it comes to building a Faceless YouTube channel is, and this is a little bit more of a intermediate tactic, which is to develop a viewer avatar. A way like easy as a beginner is you should know exactly who you're talking about, who you're talking to. If it's something that's Gen Z, inside of the videos, you could talk about Riz, you could talk about doom scrolling, you can use these keywords that are like a level 100 power. If you're older, you're like, what the hell are these? And that's good. That means that you're not the right audience for that, and this content is made for that type of demo. But if you're older, maybe you want to make some more jokes about, you want to talk about movies and pop culture references and references to people that were born in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. You want to know who your audience is. And so when you're talking to your audience inside of the video, or when you're making your videos to a specific viewer. You're making your videos to a specific crowd, a specific audience. And if this sounds really complex, it's really, at the end of the day, just read the comments, ask yourself who is watching these videos. The better you understand who the other person is on the other end of the video, like who the main viewer is that this video is made for, it becomes 10 times easier to make the videos, because then you know exactly who you're talking to, you know exactly like what other videos they're watching, and you can just go watch what they watch and then just bring that to your videos, and then you have super original content. That's a little bit intermediate, a little bit more advanced, like I said, not to try to go too crazy with that, but I would say just watch the videos of your competitors and then bring that language to yours on the simplistic sake of how to do things. I see a lot of people where they don't know who they're making these, who's watching these videos. Maybe they're not necessarily a fan of the, like they haven't watched the videos and tried to become a fan of the content themselves. And so that holds them back big time. So the next one I'm going to jump into out of my list of the 4 different kind of categories, which is content creation. So I would say one of the biggest ones that I see is people try to do too many things. And so what do I mean by that? I see people try to do 7 different content strategies, maybe even different niches. Like they never clearly define a niche, they never clearly define their audience, they never clearly define their content strategy, and every single video is different. Now when you're advanced, one of the best strategies is to have every video have a similar frame. What that means is you're leading with the story in the frame, or you're leading with the listicle, which is 10 things you didn't know about blank, or you're doing a video that is a bold statement, like a bold claim. Like one of my personal channels I do, the Canup files, like I'll do a video that's I'll never work a 9-to-5 job again. That video got 70,000 views. So it's like a bold claim. So what I will see is people will pick 7 different title format structures. They'll do 7 different styles of production. Like one they'll do explainer style, the next one they'll do B-roll, the next one they'll do a compilation. They're just mixing that up. And then they're talking to a different segment of the audience every single video. And then they're doing a different thumbnail style every single video, and it's just a complete nightmare. It's a complete mess. So what I found that it makes it significantly easier for you guys if you're a beginner is just pick one content strategy, pick one segment of the audience. So if you're in the health niche, you want to talk to, we get a lot of balloons in this video. If you're in the health niche, talk to the cancer audience, or you talk to the liver disease audience, or you talk to the heart health audience. Each of these are great audiences. Just pick one of them. Maybe at the beginning you can be intentional with testing each of these different audiences to see which one you're best with, but be intentional with that stuff instead of just randomly doing it and then just coming to me being like, Devin, my channel isn't getting results, because you're all over the place. And so they're just trying out so many different things. When it comes to YouTube channels or your YouTube video, there's 1,000 different variables on a video. You could go on and on with all the different things that you could test out. You could talk about subtitles, music that you're playing, the type of font you're using, the colors that you're using, the tone of your video, the hook, the subjects that you talk about, the title, the style of the thumbnail, the font on the thumbnail. Like it goes on and on. And so what I recommend is finding what's already proven and what's already working and emulating that and trying to change just one variable at a time. What's the one variable that you should be changing at a time? Typically the idea of the video or the topic of the video. That's the easiest, bar none, thing to test. So if someone does a video, how Elon Musk spends his billions, instead of trying to change all these things, change out this entire production strategy, try new thumbnail formats, all these different things, trying out different title strategies, just do how Jeff Bezos spends his billions. And then when you're watching how Elon Musk spends his billions, take every single aspect that they're doing in their production and then bring it to the Jeff Bezos subject. We're not going to do this forever. We're not every single video. We're not gonna take exactly the same exact music and styling of every single video, but we want to get results first. Then when we're getting 1,000 views a video, 10,000 views a video, 100,000 views on a video, then we can start to adapt and come to our own conclusions and do our own way of doing things. But until we're getting results, you have no business trying to do everything differently, because as soon as you start trying to do everything differently, it makes it a living nightmare to try to diagnose what the issue is of your videos. So if they do in the intro, say they do this. In this video, we're going to talk about how Elon Musk spends billions on yachts and parties, and not only his companies, but also girls and whatever. So on the Jeff Bezos video, you're gonna do the same exact thing. In this video, we're gonna talk about how Jeff Bezos spends his billions on yachts and parties and his business and all these things. Like, you want to be, if they do something, you just want to switch the variable, which is, okay, they're talking about how Elon Musk does these things. Okay, they're talking about Elon Musk's houses, we're talking about Jeff Bezos's houses. You want to be one-to-one with that at the beginning, because like I said, there's so many variables when it comes to building a faceless YouTube channel, or just a YouTube channel in general, that you want to just try to focus on being intentional with as few variables as possible. The analogy I have for that one is, imagine you're a scientist and you have you have an experiment that you're doing, how a bacteria reacts to different foods. If you take a bacteria and you put it into a petri dish with a McDonald's cheeseburger, there's thousands of ingredients inside of that McDonald's cheeseburger. You have no idea how the bacteria is reacting, other than it's just going batshit crazy because there's just so much going on in there. Versus if you just take a piece of lettuce and put it in with the bacteria, now you know the reaction. If you put that piece of bacteria with a piece of tomato, you know exactly how it reacts. So you want to try to be super intentional with each variable that you are trying out when it comes to your videos, because otherwise it's just going to be a freaking McDonald's cheeseburger of a problem that you have, and you don't know what's wrong with the McDonald's, like with the food. So that brings me over to my next point, which is tolerating poor video production. I don't think you need necessarily you don't need a Grammy style video production. You don't need anything like all that necessarily fancy. A lot of it really is, this is my thought philosophy of it, is just making a video that's not bad enough for people to leave because the audio's scratchy, because the points don't make sense, because the visuals are too confusing. I've seen really poor video production, but because they just nail the basics, the videos are able to get millions of views over and over again. Like, especially niches today, like the explainer niche, like the production is not that crazy. The scripts are pretty good, I will say, but they don't necessarily have crazy video production. But the issue is just when you have bad video production, when you have glaringly obvious issues that make it hard for the video to be digestible, it makes it confusing, it makes it hard to watch, the points aren't clear inside of the video, and it makes it really confusing. What I will say is, a lot of beginners, the beginner mistake is they tolerate really poor video production. I'll add in actually a couple other points that I realized too. But I would say with that, just really intentional with the production. I said it doesn't have to be anything crazy, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but you want to make sure that the video is at least consumable. My recommendation, you should watch the competitor's video that got 1 million views, watch your video, and it should be indistinguishable that you are a different channel in a different company. At least at the beginning, so you got all the basics nailed, you got the systems, you got the processes down. And then now when you have those systems and the processes, you can make videos on different subjects and try different things out. And because you got the systems and processes down, like 95% of it's already proven to work and be successful. And then you're tweaking these small few things on the videos that you're making. So the next one that brings me over to, which is poor audio quality, which kind of goes into it. Audio is bar none, like way more important than anything else in the video. If you have really poor audio quality, like the voiceover just sounds bad, or it's hard to listen to, that's going to be a big issue. And then with content creation, your packaging sucks. So what I will say is, I'm not trying to be rude here, but typically even some of my better students that come through my program, what I will say is a lot of them struggle with the packaging of the videos. It's just the idea is not clear. The thumbnail is really hard to click on. It's not easy to click on. It just sets the frame of the video up to be hard for people to click on, let alone watch. So what I will say is, besides the ideas and the video ideas you're producing, you should spend a lot of time on your thumbnail production. So what I mean by this is, whatever the market is doing with their thumbnails, just do what they're doing. I'm not saying you should copy and paste their thumbnail onto your channel. What I'm saying is, if, like, for example, the anime niche, one of the big styles is like they'll have a guy leaning against a wall and a girl pressed up against him. If that's what's working and you have a subject or a topic that's pretty similar to that one, you should make a thumbnail just like that one. If you got to photo manipulate, you got to change the hair colors and to make it applicable to the show that you're talking about inside of your video, you want to make it look exactly like that thumbnail. If someone uses a yellow font that's big and bold, use a yellow font that's big and bold, just like they did. If they put it in the top left, you put it in the top left. Just when it comes to packaging, I really want to emphasize it with packaging. You really want to emulate what's already working for the other channels to at least get you results. My goal, what I would hate is you keep trying to do unique stuff and then I accidentally deleted my thing here. And then you're trying to you do this for 6 months, and then this entire time you're trying to do unique packaging every single time. Just do what's already proven, find something that's already working, take that style and apply it to your video. That's what everybody does. That's what Mr. Beast does. That's what all the big creators that are making millions and cajillions of dollars are all doing that. Just find what's working and repackage it for your subject. Keep it simple, stupid. That brings me over to, I have a kind of a content production one. This was a bonus one I'm throwing in real quick because it makes sense right here, which is, I see this happen all the time when it comes to working with freelancers, is don't work with a full service agency. I think full service agencies are one of the dumbest things when it comes to the faceless YouTube industry, where people are like, oh, I'll make these cash cow videos or whatever. They'll make these videos fully done. They'll do the script, they'll do the voiceover, they'll do the editing, they'll do the thumbnail. My question is, for these people, why don't they go start their own channels? If they could do everything, the entire production, and they need you to come up with the ideas and pay them, why don't they just do that themselves? Now, I get it if you're doing a strategic partnership, but when you're a beginner, it makes zero sense. Like, I recommend either you do some of the components yourself or you hire individual people for different of these tasks. So I think you should always hire, like, a video editor should be different than a script writer. It's okay if maybe the voice acting and video editing is together, or the script and the voice acting is together. But if someone does everything, unless it's a business partnership, it makes no sense. So stay away from agencies. I think that's a terrible idea for beginners especially. That brings me over to my next category of these, which is consistency and commitment. So I told you all of these things. I've given you a lot of the, and we're gonna go dive into kind of like analysis and like what to do if your videos aren't doing well. But what I will say is I gave you like majority of the blueprint here inside of this video already. What I will say is I see a lot of people fall into these categories. So I'll go through them one by one. So I see people thinking that this is a get rich quick thing. There is no such thing. If you're coming into this thinking you're going to be a billionaire after just starting and making a shit ton of money like right away, and that's your whole expectations coming into this, good luck. Because what I will say is it's probably going to be way harder than you think it will be. Now, have I made $7,000 in the first week of starting a channel? Yeah. Do I know friends that have made have I had students make 10 grand in the first 10 days? Yeah. Do I know friends that have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in less than a month? Yeah, I do. But we've also done YouTube before. We've had previous experiences. We already know what we're doing. So if you're a previous YouTuber, yeah, you can definitely get rich quick with faceless YouTube channels. If you've already had experience with YouTube and you actually apply everything, and especially if you have a mentor or coach helping you out. But what I will say is if you're trying to use this as like an overnight income stream, it's not really made for that. What it is really made for is to build a really strong income stream over the next probably 3 to 6 months. Maybe you could do it sooner if you move quick. And then what it's good at is being a consistent income stream that you can eventually scale up, or if you want to sell digital products or physical products, or if you want to do newsletters, affiliate deals, sponsorships, it's great for that. So this is like a process. And a lot of people, they think they focus so much on the destination. What I will say is focus on the journey, not the destination. And when you focus on the journey and becoming better at these skills and developing skills and becoming a more effective human being and a better faceless YouTuber, you will get better. You will get more results on YouTube, and you can make a ton of money with this like I have. Like, I've made millions of dollars with faceless YouTube channels. You can do that. But if you're thinking that you're going to get rich overnight from doing this, I will say good luck. But if you have a good set of expectations and you know that it's going to take some time and you know that it's going to take some work, then I will say you're a lot better equipped for starting out this journey. The next thing that I will say is I see people do it with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I see a lot of people, they don't go all in on this. And because they don't commit and they don't go all in, they don't decide to go all in, which if you break down the word decide, it means to cut off all other options. They don't decide to build a faceless YouTube channel and to go all in on it. Then I see a lot of people, they really struggle to see success and to see results. I see a lot of people, they have a tough time breaking through and making the serious progress that they need. I'm not saying you need to dedicate a godly amount of hours to this. I'm saying you need to be consistently doing 30 minutes to an hour a day, or at least 5 to 10 hours a week into this. Unless you have people that you're just paying to help you do everything, then that could be a little bit different. But you want to, and you got $50,000 that you're investing into this, that might be a little bit different. But you want to go all in on this. You can't just dip your toes into the water. You have to go all in. I see the people that I see have success, they go all in. And what that means, it does, like I said, it doesn't mean working a godly amount of hours. It just means they actually apply themselves to this opportunity, and then they're consistent with it. If you just do those two things, it would be pretty unreasonable for you to not have success with this. That brings me over to the next thing, which is an inconsistent upload schedule, which I have another point with that to pair with it. which is I see a lot of people, they're uploading 1 video a week, and then the next video 3 videos, and the next week no videos, and then 5 the next week, and they just have this all over the place inconsistent schedule. Try to upload consistently as to what your production can allow for. This doesn't also mean batch up 30 videos and then just upload all of them, because you want the feedback, which that's the other point, which is you want the feedback from each individual video, and you want the algorithm on YouTube to know that you're consistent. Typically they want to see some consistency in your uploads before they start promoting you on the algorithm. So what that means is if you can upload 1 video a week, do 1 video a week. Don't do 3 one week and then none the next. I'd rather you schedule it out to what you know you can do, and then as your production increases, you can start scheduling more out, and as it slows down, you can just start slowly scheduling more out, but start being intentional with the scheduling that you have. I typically recommend uploading a video probably like 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's a pretty good time. And then once you get more views, you can start to see when the best time of the day is to actually upload these videos. But what I will say is be consistent with it. Stick with this for a month, stick with this for 3 months, for 6 months, and just do that. Just plan on it taking longer than, plan on it taking a long time. I'd rather you think it's going to take a year for you to get results, or let's say 8 months to get a results, and you end up blowing up on month 2 and start making 10 grand a month, then you thinking that you're going to be rich in 2 weeks and you've only gotten like 100 views, and so you're pissed off and so you stop. You want to kind of dedicate yourself to the process, expect it to probably take a little bit longer than you think it will, and just try to shoot for consistency over everything. That brings me over to the next point, which is not understanding it's a momentum platform. YouTube is very momentum based. So when you're getting views, you're getting lots of views. When things are slow, things are really slow. So as soon as you start having momentum pick up, you want to double down on your time. Like, you want to double down on the production, you want to double down on the quality, you want to double down on the idea, because it's a very momentum based. There's a metric we have on YouTube that we call view velocity, which is how many views that you're getting per hour or per day or per minute. And so it's a big view velocity thing. What trips up the system of view velocity more than anything is you're uploading 1 video 1 week, and the next video you don't upload, and then the next week you upload 3, and then the next week you don't upload anything. So being consistent is huge in this. So whatever you can do for a consistent upload schedule, that's what I would say. Whatever you can commit to, commit ahead of time, so then when it's hard or you got stuff going on, you're like, okay, I at least got to get 2 videos up this week. Whatever happens, I got to try to at least get up 2 videos. Definitely consistency and your commitment is a huge part of the success that you're going to have. The people that I see struggle to have success with this are people that struggle to be consistent and really commit to the process. And so that brings me over to my last point, which is the analysis of the results that you get and you adapting to the results that you're getting. The thing that there's 2 words that I hate when it comes to someone that's getting a new channel started and they bring it up and they ask it to me all the time, which is CTR and average view duration. Yes, these metrics are like, the CTR is important, but what I will say is if you have videos with less than 1,000 views, neither of these metrics matter. The most important metric when it comes to YouTube is views and then revenue. That's it. Nothing else really matters. Now, CTR and AVD, they're helpful insights. I would say they're secondary or tertiary insights to help you produce better content. But don't worry about the CTR and the AVD too much, especially if you have videos with less than 1,000 views. Get that word out of your mouth. Don't worry about CTR and AVD. Just focus on the amount of views that you're getting on your videos. That's it, because CTR is relative. What I will say is videos that I've produced that got like 6 million views on them, they have the worst CTR and the AVD out there possible. And that's just because as they get more impressions, it's being served to a wider audience, and the bar for CTR and AVD goes down significantly just because you're being pushed out to larger and larger audiences. And so typically, like on my most viral videos, they have a 3% CTR and like a 30% AVD on the 10-minute video, which is pretty poor. That's not that good. But it's because as they reach larger and larger markets of scale, those numbers go down significantly. And so when you have videos with less than 10,000 or less than 100,000 or a million views, less than those, don't worry about the CTR and AVD too much. It is nice to know relatively. So if you're like, okay, the last 5 videos I got a 6% AVD or CTR that got 3,000 views, and then this video got like a 8% CTR, okay, that's insightful to know a little bit, but I focus more on views than anything else. So don't analyze your videos too deep on that sense on the metrics. Instead, focus more of like viewer satisfaction and how many views the video gets. So viewer satisfaction is just like How do people feel after watching this video? Did they enjoy it? Are they wanting to watch more YouTube videos? Are they wanting to watch more of your videos? It's more of an intuitive thing. And then once you start getting lots of views, then you can analyze the data a little bit more. But if you're a smaller YouTuber, you're not making 10 grand a month, then I wouldn't think too much of it, to be honest with you. Like I said, I hear it all the time, and it just like, it inside my body cringes hearing those words out of someone that's just getting started. Don't worry too much about it. And then I see this issue as well with the analyzing and adaptation is, first of all, like sometimes some of my most viral videos, and let me see if I can pull one up for you guys, like I'll post it and it takes a good amount of time before it ever gets any real traction. Like sometimes a month, sometimes 3 months, sometimes 6 months. Now, I'm not saying wait for the 3 or 6 month successes on YouTube all the time, but what I will say is YouTube takes a little bit longer than you think sometimes. So what that means is stick through for 10 videos or 20 videos for a content strategy and then pivot. Don't pivot every single video. You're like, oh, that last video flopped, so I'm never going to do that content strategy again. Sometimes you could have just hit the wrong part of the algorithm. Sometimes you just didn't have success. Like sometimes you just couldn't find the right audience. So I would say definitely try to be a little bit patient. Like you want to be like, what's the word? Like aggressively patient. You want to be patient, but you want to move quick. So you want to get things done quick, but when it comes to things not having success, don't worry every single hour about how something is performing until maybe you're getting like 10,000 views an hour. That could be a little bit different. But when it comes to, and I'm pulling this video up for you guys real quick. So here's a video right here as like a specific example. So you'll see this video that we uploaded when we first uploaded it, and I'll pull it up for you guys here. We uploaded it on October 12th. And it wasn't until January 2021, like the next year, that it picked up. So that's like almost 4 months before it got any sort of actual real traction. And so sometimes in some niches, just videos take a little bit to blow up. So don't think too much of things. Now I've had videos as soon as I upload them on a new channel, they get a ton of views. Don't be too much of you don't want to be all over the place when things aren't working. But you want to be really intentional with the things that you're doing. So like a mindset or like a mental model I give people that I work with is think of things in batches of 5 videos or batches of 10 videos. So let's say out of 10 videos, some of these videos about Conor McGregor are doing like Conor McGregor videos are doing really well, or it's popping in the niche. So I do, out of the 10 videos you make, maybe make 3 of them about Conor McGregor, maybe make 2 of them about some other fighter, and then the other 5 of them about rules in the sport. Okay. And then the videos about Conor McGregor, the videos that you're doing, like use whatever 2 or 3 different formats of your production, and just being intentional about the next 10 videos, the next 5 videos, or the next 10 videos. And then as you get results from those 5 or those 10, then you can pivot the strategy for the next 5 videos or for the next 10 videos. So that way, when you're at upload number 6, something starts going crazy, or you're not getting any results, you're not emotionally reacting to it, and instead you're just like, you're going to see things through with what you have in production right now. And then the next batch, you'll iterate. So then instead of you worrying about every single individual video and building so much pressure around the individual videos, and you're just all over the place and you let your emotions take over and then you get no results, is instead try to be a little bit more intentional with the emotions, try to be a little bit more intentional with your strategy, and try to base things more on logic than off of emotions. So that's what I have. Those are my beginner mistakes that I have. We got through it. There was a pretty good list. This was a 40-minute video. But if you guys have any questions, drop it down below. I look to making more of these videos for you guys just to give more insights and more info out. I want to answer any questions that you have down below about anything to do with inside of here, or any questions that you're having with your thing. But a lot of the beginner mistakes boil down to these things. If you guys have anything else, then that's what I got. So anyways, Devin Canup here of Become Viral, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Make sure to subscribe and like and stuff. Bye.